Rule versus Fat Joe. Interesting battle. There was something that Fat Joe said to Ja Rule, I guess that triggered him or whatever case may be. But it also triggered me because of Ja Rule's response. He said, "You know what? You must have forgot my story. You must have forgot what I've done to get here." And my thought process is, I wanted to ask you guys, have you forgot your story? Like, have you forgot what you've done and what you've been through? And I think a lot of us, we're so caught up in the everyday hustle and bustle. We're so caught up in just trying to live our best life right now. We forget or forget what it took for us to be where we are. A lot of us been through heartache. A lot of us been through, some type of trial and tribulations where, we had to get that life lesson, and it made us who we are right now. It helped shape and mold who we are right now. And my thought process is, have you guys forgot what helped make you you? What gave you the confidence that you have? What gave you the tenacity? What gave you the courage? What said, you know what, you can keep going? Have you guys forgotten what made you you? Have you been telling your story? There's a lot of people, I feel like they for some reason they haven't been telling their story because they've forgotten all the things that they've been through to become the person that they are, to become the lover, to become the husband, become the wife, become the positive citizen, become the person with the good credit, become the person with the house, become a confidant, become a partner, become a role model, become a leader, become a protector, become somebody that's courageous. You forgot your story. You forgot when your lights was out. You forgot when y'all didn't have no food, you didn't have new clothes to wear. You forgot when you was being bullied. You forgot all of your trial and tribulation because you've got comfortable. You've gotten comfortable. Salute to everybody. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. You've gotten comfortable. When you get so comfortable and you get so relaxed, sometimes you forget all of the hard work, all of the stress that you've been through, all of the times you sat down and your back was against the wall and you had those trials and tribulations and you was scratching your head, you was sitting in the dark, you was crying at night, you were just hoping that somebody will understand what you're going through, etc., etc. And some type of way you found a way to rise above that. Some type of way you said you found a way within you, the intestinal fortitude, the courageousness to keep on going. Something about you that made it through made you a champion, made you a victor. Whether it was abuse, whether it was being homeless, whether it was your getting repoed, getting evicted, it was something that bad breakup. It was something about you that you sat down and said, man, I got to get through this. Some of y'all got real comfortable. You forgot how powerful you was. You forgot how great you was. See, this is the thing. When you forget your story, when you forget, I'm about to piss somebody. When you forget your story, sometimes when you forget your story and you forget how great you are, you start reaching for people. You start wanting people to come help you because you forget that you already got everything that you need to get through the situation because you've been through something like that before, but you forgot. So you start reaching for people that you hope that's going to come and save you. And here's the thing. Sometimes you pull people into your life to come and help save you, but they don't want to save you. They want you to stay out there treading water. They ain't going to throw you no life raft. They're not going to save you. They're not going to pull you out of harm's way. They're not going to jump in front of you. They're not going to say, oh, wait, everything stop. But I think it's because of some of us have forgotten our story, forgotten the long road, forgotten how much energy and time and effort and finances and tears, what it took for them to become them. What it took for you to become you. Some of y'all need to remind yourself of your story. We've been so amped up on writing these new chapters in our life that we forget to read the old chapters. We forget the lessons that were learned from the old chapters. Sometimes the original is better than the sequel. Sometimes the original is better than the sequel. Some of us have forgotten what made us and what molded us originally. your effort, the things that you've been through, the things that have said, you know what, you're not going to always have somebody to come in and hold your hand. You're not going to always have somebody cheerlead for you. You're not going to always have somebody that tells you you're going to make it and a shoulder you can lean on and cry on. So sometimes you got to remind yourself that you enough. I know this ain't for everybody. I ain't a preacher, but this a message. Sometimes you got to remind yourself that you enough. You need to remember your story. Remember your story. Remember what helped build, shape, and mold you to get you and make you who you are right now. You're something special. But nobody want to tell you that. They don't want to tell you, hey, you remember that time you went through X, Y, and Z, and you went through it by yourself, and even though you had people around, you still was lonely? Ladies and gentlemen, what is your story? What is your story? What are the things that help get you where you are right now? The reason why you so damn confident and you can't allow a hater, a naysayer, a frenemy, a family member, a friend, a sibling, whatever it is, whatever y'all saying, I got a story to tell. Tell your story. Don't remind them, remind yourself. Remind yourself, hey self, we went through this shit before. Our backs, it's been against the wall before. The odds have been placed against me. That was Goliath and I was David. I only had a slingshot. And some type of way you was able to hit your goals. You were able to hit higher ground. You were able to hit accomplishments. You were able to hit just a little bit of ounce of hope, and that got you through it. It wasn't the pastor sermon. Nah, no. It wasn't YouTube. No. It wasn't your mama. It wasn't your daddy. It wasn't your big homie. It wasn't this part. It was you. You sat down and said, I am not going to sink. I'm not going to be stagnant and just let shit happen to me. I know you a bully, so cool. I'm gonna show you what I do with bullies. I'm gonna show you how I handle bullies. Let me tell you my story. A lot of people have forgotten who they were, and they need people around them to give them a standing ovation, to cheer them, give them validation and affirmation. But did you forget how great you was? You forgot about you? You forgot about the shit that it took, that you went through? The times that your back was against the wall and you was like, man, how the hell am I gonna pay this bill? How the hell am I gonna get through this? Hey God, remember me? And some type of way, now you sit back 30 days later, 60 days later, a year later, 2 years later, 5 years later, 6 years later, and then you say, man, I forgot about that. You forgot your story. You forgot that you was a star player on your team, that everybody that counted you out, everybody that said you was the black sheep, everybody that said, you know what, you not going to survive this, so you might as well go ahead and fold and give up. You told yourself that you wasn't going to give up. You told yourself that you deserve better. I know I'm talking to somebody. I know somebody need a message like this. You forgot your story. You forgot how great you was, how powerful you was, how magnificent you was, how loving you was, how courageous you was, how thoughtful you was, how intelligent you was. You forgot that you was somebody special. And the people that you got around you, for some reason, they don't know. They don't remember. You got to remind them. Don't just remind them with your words. No, that's easy. That's easy. How many people you see, they good at talking, but they never really have the actions to back it up. Don't remind them with your words. Remind them with your actions. You got to go back and read your story. Ladies and gentlemen, some of y'all forgot y'all story. You forgot your story. What it took for you to stand up straight and be able to face me. Some of y'all were scared to death to live your best life. Hell, you didn't even know what living your best life was. And then you got to a point where, you know, you started accomplishing things. You started doing the things that you set out to be great. You started accomplishing the things that the world say you need to have, reference to monetary value and credit score and what the things you should check off the block to say, oh, I'm high value and I'm an alpha male and I'm an alpha female and I'm a bad this and I'm a that and I'm a this. You start checking that block off. But here's the thing. You didn't check the block of remembering your life lessons from your story. Everybody has went through something that has shaped and molded them. Your story is your story. I'm going to say something that you might have heard before, but I'm going to say it in my way. Stop worrying about everybody else's blessings. Whoa, wait a minute. Stop worrying about everybody else's blessings. The blessings they're receiving is because of the story that they have. Wait. The blessings that they're receiving is because of the type of story that they have. Your story is different. Your blessings are going to come based on how your story is. Don't compare yourself to somebody else's story. You ain't built like that. Well, I was homeless, I was on drugs, I was in the shelter, yada, 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 yada. Oh, God, why are you blessing them with $1 million? You ain't built like that. That's not your story. You so concerned about somebody else's story, somebody else's blessing, instead of figuring out, maybe if you stop procrastinating, maybe if you stop hating, maybe if you stop being jealous, maybe if you stop ignoring the truth, maybe if you stop ignoring the things that you're supposed to do as an adult, maybe if you carry more of a positive attitude, you ain't ready for your blessing. You forgot your story. Remember when you used to think positive, when the people around you used to encourage, used to really give people standing ovations, used to really be a friend, a family member, a confidant, somebody that you know for a fact is going to have somebody back without expecting any. You forgot your story. And since you forgot your story, your blessings didn't come when you thought they should have came. Now you mad at God. Now I don't believe in God now. I don't worry about Christianity. Don't tell me nothing about it. You turned your back on your story. You grew up in the church. You were singing high praises. But because God didn't do what you wanted God to do, now you mad at God. Ain't no God. I don't believe in God. Okay, cool. But you remember when you were sitting down and you was crying? Because of those things that was happening at trial and tribulations, who you prayed to? Who you asked God to help deliver you from? What situation did you ask God to help deliver you from? And the second that you got a little bit old, you start smelling yourself. You start feeling yourself. Well, I done made it. I'm comfortable. I'm good. I got a nice car. I got a nice house. Whoa, I got a couple ducats in the bank. I'm good. I'm able to go party when I want to go party, to turn up. Listen, look at all this jewelry I got on. I got bundles. You real comfortable. You forgot your story. You forgot what it took. You forgot who you talked to. You forgot the conversation that you was having. You forgot who you prayed to. You forgot who you reached out to. You forgot what you did to kind of boost yourself up to say, I can do this. I can do this. Yeah, I'm a little nervous. I'm a little scared. You know what I'm saying? But I can do it. They might laugh at me. They might laugh when they hear, my dreams and aspirations, but I can do this. I can pass that test. I can lose that weight. I can open that business. I can jump back into the dating market again. I can do this. I've been there before. My back's been against the wall numerous times. The odds have been stacked against me. I've been the black sheep. Somebody counted me out numerous times. Was it a coworker? Was it a friend that's always hanging around you, and for some reason, instead of encouraging you, they're always reminding you of, well, you sure you can do that? You sure you want to do that? I don't think you could do that. Let's think about something else. They forgot your story. Let's listen to somebody's story. Let's sit down and listen to somebody's story. And I'm hoping that once you hear somebody else's story, it makes you reflect on your story. Let's listen to somebody's story. Let's see what it sounds like.
The first story is about connecting the dots. I dropped out of Reed College after the first 6 months, but then stayed around as a drop-in for another 18 months or so before I really quit. So why'd I drop out? It started before I was born. My biological mother was a young, unwed graduate student, and she decided to put me up for adoption. She felt very strongly that I should be adopted by college graduates, so everything was all set for me to be adopted at birth by a lawyer and his wife. Except that when I popped out, they decided at the last minute that they really wanted a girl. So my parents, who were on a waiting list, got a call in the middle of the night asking, "We've got an unexpected baby boy. Do you want him?" They said, "Of course." My biological mother found out later that my mother had never graduated from college and that my father had never graduated from high school. She refused to sign the final adoption papers. She only relented a few months later when my parents promised that I would go to college.
Listen.
This was the start in my life. And 17 years later, I did go to college. But I naively chose a college that was almost as expensive as Stanford. And all of my working class parents' savings were being spent on my college tuition. After 6 months, I couldn't see the value in it. I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life and no idea how college was going to help me figure it out. And here I was, spending all the money my parents had saved their entire life. So I decided to drop out and trust that it would all work out okay. It was pretty scary at the time, but looking back, it was one of the best decisions I ever made. The minute I dropped out, I could stop taking the required classes that didn't interest me and begin dropping in on the ones that looked far more interesting.
Salute the real mama.
It wasn't all romantic. I didn't have a dorm room, so I slept on the floor in friends' rooms. I returned Coke bottles for the 5-cent deposits to buy food with. And I would walk the 7 miles across town every Sunday night to get one good meal a week at the Hare Krishna temple. I loved it. And much of what I stumbled into by following my curiosity and intuition turned out to be priceless later on. Let me give you one example. Reed College at that time offered perhaps the best calligraphy instruction in the country. Throughout the campus, every poster, every label on every drawer was beautifully hand calligraphed. Because I had dropped out and didn't have to take the normal classes, I decided to take a calligraphy class to learn how to do this. I learned about serif and sans serif typefaces, about varying the amount of space between different letter combinations, about what makes great typography great. It was beautiful, historical, artistically subtle in a way that science can't capture, and I found it fascinating. None of this had even a hope of any practical application in my life. But 10 years later, when we were designing the first Macintosh computer, it all came back to me. And we designed it all into the Mac. It was the first computer with beautiful typography. If I had never dropped in on that single course in college, the Mac would have never had multiple typefaces or proportionally spaced fonts. And since Windows just copied the Mac, it's likely that no personal computer would have it. If I had never dropped out, I would have never dropped in on that calligraphy class, and personal computers might not have the wonderful typography that they do. Of course, it was impossible to connect the dots looking forward when I was in college, but it was very, very clear looking backwards 10 years later. Again, you can't...
Ladies and gentlemen, what's your story? What's your story? What helped shape? What helped mold you? What helped encourage you? What helped you defy the odds? What is your story? Sit down and remember your story. Go through your story. Read it line by line. Read it verbatim, page to page. What is your story? There is something that helps shape, mold in you to give you the confidence that you have, to allow you to look at someone and tell you, this is who I am. Something helped build you. Something helped promote a foundation. Now, I know a lot of you guys say, hey, man, my story is just riddled with a whole bunch of hardship. It's just a bunch of negativity. Like, I do not want to sit down and I do not want to relive those moments. It was not anything to be proud of. It was not anything that... Wait. You learn something from that. You learn something from that story. Either what to do or what not to do. You learn how to be brave. You learn how to be courageous. You learn what you don't deserve. Remember your story. Let that empower you. Let that be the courage that you need to continuously take that first step. The thing about it is, you grow up and you found that you were more powerful when you were younger. And then you grow up and you lose that sense of inspiration. You lose that determination, that drive. My thought process is, remember what got you through those moments, that got you through that hardship. What's your story? It's important that you remember. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know what this is Tough Love. I'm Mario J. Until next time, remember your story. Peace.